Boys and girls, Mrs. Beer here. I'm gonna do another read aloud. I know it's spring break, but hey, we haven't been working that hard, have we really? Um, so, and even if you have been working that hard, I hope you have been. I just thought that it would be fun to have something to look forward to, and I look forward to making these videos because it makes me feel like I'm closer to you guys. Because I miss you. I miss the library. I miss house challenges. I miss Martinez Essential 15. I miss joking around with you guys. I miss you guys laughing at me. I miss getting dressed up for work. Lots of stuff. Anyway, The Puppy Place. This one is called Noodle, and it's by Ellen Miles. And there's a lot of puppy place books in our Martinez library. They're kind of fun, so we'll read Noodle up until we get close to 15 minutes because that's the limit that I have on the videos for YouTube. And then I'll finish up however long it takes us. And then you can take the AR test if you want. If not, then when we get back from spring break, definitely take the AR test. Okay, so here we go. Noodle. Chapter 1. Brr, Lizzie folded her arms across her chest and tucked her chin into her jacket collar. I'm freezing. Whose idea was this anyway? She glared at her father. She knew exactly whose idea it was. Who else in the Peterson family would think that it was a good idea to have a Saturday afternoon picnic in Loon Lake Park in March? On summer days, Loon Lake Park was one of Lizzie's favorite places. The lake was just the perfect size, not too small, not too big. On a Saturday afternoon in July, the water would be a sparkling sweep of crystal blue instead of a flat plain of rough gray ice. The sun would be blazing, but there would be cool, shady places under the towering trees near shore. The green, grassy slope where people parked their beach chairs and coolers in summer was now just a dingy patch of leftover snow and mud. In summer, the park's sandy beach, playground, and campground would be alive with activity. Kids and moms and dads would be swimming and fishing and paddling canoes, climbing the jungle gym and playing catch and buying popsicles from the little store. There would be that special only in summer smell in the air, a mix of hot dogs grilling and suntan lotion and newly mowed grass. Now it was totally quiet and empty except for the Petersons. Lizzie looked across the frozen lake. There were a few little houses, cabins really, along the far shore. Each one had its own little beach, a dock, and maybe a canoe or a rowboat. Nobody was at the cabins now, but in summertime they'd be full of people, just like the park was. Lizzie sometimes pretended that the smallest cabin, the one with the moose antlers over the doorway, was hers. She liked to imagine waking up early and starting her day by doing a cannonball off its dock, right into the still blue water. The gates of the park entrance didn't even open until 10 a.m., but if you had your own cabin, you could swim whenever you wanted. Dad said those cabins cost a lot of money. Since he was a firefighter and Mom was a newspaper reporter, the Petersons were not exactly millionaires. That meant they could not afford a cabin at Loon Lake. At least they lived nearby, so they could visit as often as they liked. They came all the time in the summer, and they always came at least once in the winter too. Dad said these winter picnics were a highlight of his year. He said he and Mom used to go on winter picnics all the time. They would bring binoculars to look for winter birds, plenty of food, and blankets to keep them warm. That was long ago, before Lizzie and her two younger brothers, Charles and Bean, his real name was Adam, not that anybody ever called him that, were even born. It wasn't that Lizzie really minded the winter picnics. It was fun to help load up the baskets with blankets and thermoses full of hot chocolate and spicy chili. She liked the part where she and Dad made a fire in one of the picnic area's fireplaces, and she could even deal with sitting on the cold, hard ground, poking a marshmallow and a stick into the dying coals. What she didn't like was how it always took Mom and Dad so long to choose the exact right spot for the picnic. How about over there by the marsh? Mom asked. We might see some interesting birds or some animal tracks. I like that spot by the boat docks, Dad answered. It has the best view of the lake. Lizzie and her brother stood there, shivering and looking out at the grayish-white frozen lake and the bare brown trees along its shore. A stiff breeze stung Lizzie's cheeks. Come on, you guys, I'm freezing, she repeated. I warm, Bean proclaimed. He pointed to his chest. I very warm in my fur. Lizzie rolled her eyes. The thing about the Bean was he liked to pretend he was a puppy. He liked to take naps on a doggy bed, eat doggy snacks, and play with doggy toys. Lizzie had always thought all that stuff was kind of cute, but lately the Bean was doing something that was not quite so cute. He had been wearing his fur a brown fuzzy fleece sweater that Mom had found on sale all day long, every day. He even slept in it. The only time he took it off was when he took a bath, and then he insisted that it had to be hanging on the hook in the bathroom where he could see it. Mom had tried to take the fur away to wash it, but Bean got pretty upset about that. Mom believed in picking her battles with the toddler, and she didn't think fur was worth arguing about. She had promised to let the Bean be the one to decide when and if to wash his fur, even if it took forever. That was fine for Mom, but Lizzie was really getting sick of seeing the Bean in his fur. By now it was kind of smelly and crusty, with blotches of grape juice and bits of mud and oatmeal stuck to it. But there was nothing Lizzie could do about it. The Bean was not about to give up on his fur. Anyway, that wasn't the point right now. The point was Lizzie was freezing, and so was the Petersons' real puppy. Look at Buddy, he's shaking. All the Petersons looked down at their puppy, Buddy. He looked back up at them with his big chocolate brown eyes. Then he held up one little tan paw. My feet are cold. Why are we just standing around? Maybe we'd warm up if we ran around or had something to eat. Aw, said Dad, he is cold, the poor little guy. Don't worry, Buddy, Mom said. We'll get a fire going right away. She bent down to give him a kiss and stroked the little white heart-shaped area on his chest. Then she straightened up and looked at Dad. The place by the docks sounds fine, she said. Charles grinned at Lizzie and gave her a thumbs up. Good thinking, he whispered. Like her, he knew that everybody in the family could always agree about one thing. Taking good care of Buddy was very important. They all loved Buddy so much. He was the smartest, cutest, sweetest puppy ever. The Petersons had met lots and lots of puppies. As a foster family, their job was to take care of puppies who needed homes. They gave the puppies a safe place to live while they looked for a perfect forever family for each one. But when they met Buddy, they knew exactly where his perfect home was. It was right there with them. Now he was part of their family. Did any of you guys know Miss Scott that is works in kindergarten? Well, some of you might have had her for a teacher, and some of you might she might be your teacher now. Anyway, she and her husband, they foster cats, which is like the same thing. So they used to. I think they're taking a little break from it, but they foster cats, which means if cats don't have a home, they let them come stay with them, and then they find families for them. So that's a really nice thing to do. Remember how we've talked about volunteering and that you don't have to have a lot of money or a lot of time to do that. Well, this is something that does take a lot of time, not that much money, but it's a commitment to take care of animals. And we've talked about, finding whatever your thing is, like whether you like to work with kids, whether you like to help old people, whether you want to save the planet. That's a really important one. And that even if you're a kindergartner in first grade, or if you don't have a lot of money or you don't have a lot of time, doesn't matter. We can all help somebody. And Miss Scott likes cats a lot. And so that's what she does. She helps cats. So that might be something you want to do when you get older, or foster dogs, something like that. So we all have time in our busy lives and schedules when we become grown-ups and when we're kids to volunteer, don't we? Remember, we talked about helping an old person take out the trash or something like that. Right now, that might not be the best idea because we're not supposed to be close to other people. But when everything gets back to normal very soon, that might be something, you guys, we've talked about this before, so don't forget it, okay? All right, let's continue with the story. One of the best things about the winter picnic was that Buddy could come. Dogs weren't allowed at Loon Lake Park in the summertime. Lizzie understood that the crowded, hot beach was not a great place for dogs, but still, she always hated leaving Buddy home alone while the rest of the family was having fun. On summer days, she had sometimes seen a black dog diving off a long dock by her favorite little cabin across the lake. Buddy would have loved to do that. Lizzie knew she was lucky to be able to go to Loon Lake Park, but sometimes she could not help envying the people and the dogs who had their own places on the lake. Can I let Buddy off the leash to run around? Lizzie asked her dad now. Dad looked out at the lake. Better not, he said. That ice looks a little thin. It's been warmer the past few days, and the ice is starting to melt in places. We wouldn't want Buddy to fall in. The water could be a very cold and dangerous place for a dog. Lizzie knew her dad was probably right. Sorry, Buddy, she said. She was sure he would have loved to run along the lake shore, his ears flapping in the chilly breeze. How about if you help me with some sticks? Sticks? I love sticks. Let's go. Buddy tugged at his leash, pulling Lizzie toward a patch of woods near a little curve in the lake shore. Look, he can't wait to help, Lizzie said. She trotted after the strong little puppy, laughing whenever he picked up a stick and carried it proudly, his tail waving like a flag. Buddy only took a few steps with each stick before he got bored and dropped it so he could look for a new one. Lizzie followed behind, stooping to pick up each one he dropped. Soon she had an armload, almost enough for a fire. Buddy had been still pulling her along the lake shore, but now Lizzie noticed that his head was raised and his nose was twitching, and his ears were all perked up. Lizzie knew what that meant. Her puppy had seen or heard something interesting. What is it, Buddy? Lizzie asked. She followed his gaze out towards the lake. Lizzie saw a dark circle way out in the middle of the flat grayish ice, open water, and there was something swimming in it. Lizzie dropped her own armload of sticks. Come on! She pulled on Buddy's leash. Come on, Buddy! She ran as fast as she could back toward her family. Charles and Bina were down by the lake shore. Mom and Dad were still unpacking all the picnic stuff. Mom, Dad, quick, I need the binoculars, something. Lizzie was out of breath by the time she reached them. What's up, Miss Lizzie? Dad asked. Binoculars, binoculars, Mom muttered, poking through the bags. Here they are. Did you see an interesting bird? Maybe. Mom handed Lizzie the binoculars, but now she caught her breath. I don't know. It might be a bird or an otter or some other kind of animal, but whatever it is, I think it's stuck out there in the circle of open water. She pointed, and Mom and Dad peered out onto the lake. That dark spot? Dad asked. Is that the open place? Mm-hmm. Now Lizzie was looking through the binoculars. Everything was all blurry at first, until she turned the focus knob. She couldn't find the dark spot on the lake, but then suddenly she could see everything. Oh no! Lizzie felt her body go hot all over, then cold again. What is it? Mom asked. Lizzie, honey. Lizzie could hardly get the words out. It's a puppy. Ooh, that sounds dangerous. Chapter 2. A puppy? Mom took the binoculars and held them to her eyes. Oh my, I think you're right. She handed the binoculars to Dad. Poor thing. He must have run out on the frozen lake. Think how surprised he must have been when the ice broke underneath him. Dad took one long look, gave the binoculars back to Mom, and pulled his cell phone out of his jacket pocket. Uh-oh, he said, looking at the screen. Hardly any battery power left. I've got to find my charger. He punched in some numbers. Oh, good. It's dialing. Hello, Bill, he said. Paul Peterson here. We need the cold water rescue team now. Down at Loon Lake Park. He listened for a moment. No, it's not a person, he said. It's a dog. A puppy in big trouble. After another second, he snapped his cell phone shut. They'll be here as soon as they can, he told Lizzie and Mom. Charles came running over with the bean trotting after him. What's going on? There's a puppy out there, Lizzie pointed toward the lake. See that dark spot, that open water? And there's a puppy swimming around and around it. I saw him trying to claw his way out, but the ice on the edge of the circle just breaks. He can't get out. He could drown. But he won't, Mom said quickly. Dad called down to the fire station and alerted the cold water rescue team. They'll be here in a second. Puppy? Asked Ben, looking worried. He didn't quite get what was going on, but he understood that there was a puppy involved and that people were upset. Yes, a puppy, Lizzie said. She bent down to hug the bean. Buddy jumped up to lick the bean's cheek. But the puppy will be okay. To herself, Lizzie added, I hope. The bean was distracted by Buddy's licking. He laughed his googly laugh and squeezed Buddy tight with both arms. Buddy gave a little woof. Charles wasn't so easily distracted, but how will they save him? He asked. Mom had helped him focus the binoculars and now was peering through them across the frozen lake. He's so little, and I think he's really scared. His mouth is open wide, like he's panting for breath. Lizzie took the binoculars and looked again. The puppy seemed to be swimming more slowly now. Lizzie felt her stomach twist into a knot. The poor little guy. He must be terrified. Here they are. Dad was waving his arms at a boxy red emergency truck that was bouncing down the muddy slope, picking its way between patches of snow. This way, over here. All right, I'll finish this page and then we got to stop. The truck stopped and four people piled out. Two of them were dressed from head to toe in thick red rubber suits with red rubber hoods. Peterson, one of them, said, What's up? Dad pointed out towards the lake. Out there, he said, we think it's a puppy. The rescuers grabbed bundles of rope and other equipment from the back of their trucks and ran for the shoreline. Dad, Lizzie said as she tugged at her father's sleeve, how are they going to save the puppy? See Tyler and Emily in the red suits? Dad asked. They probably pulled those outfits on while they were on their way here. They're a special kind of wetsuit made for really cold water. If the rescuers fall in, the suits will protect them. As he talked, he and Lizzie and the rest of the family were trotting down to the shore to be closer to the action. I don't know if you noticed, Dad went on, but there were hooks on each suit which they can attach to the rope. See, they're clipping in now. All right, we are at 1424, so I'm going to have to say bye. And tomorrow we will continue reading Noodle. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Bye.